So the left-handed Lin Dan of China, the 27-year-old, up against the number 2 seed Taufik Hidayat of Indonesia. Well, Lin Dan has made 3 previous appearances here at the Korean Open. On every occasion he's reached the final, winning 2 of them. First time he won this title was 9 years ago. As far as Taufik Hidayat is concerned, he's only made 2 previous appearances, back in 2004 and 2006. Taufik Hidayat has not played the Korean Open since it's been a Super Series event, but here we are, first ever Premier Super Series event, the biggest ever prize fund in badminton history, $1.2 million, and all the world's top players have supported the event. So the 27-year-old Lin Dan, born in Fuzhou in Fujian province in China, number 6 seeding, up 1 place this week in the world rankings, up to number 4, and as I say, twice a champion here in 2002 and the first year that it was a Super Series in 2007. Well, both of his previous matches have been pretty comfortable. First round was against the qualifier Tommy Sugiyato of Indonesia, and then against Mark Zwiebler, the left-handed German, yesterday. That really was very impressive. 21-9, 21-12 in just 27 minutes. So the former world and Olympic champion, 3 times world champion, incidentally, in 4 consecutive finals, because the first final that Lin Dan reached in the World Championships, he lost out to this man, the current world number 2, the 29-year-old from Bandung in Indonesia. Has been number 1 in the world. In fact, he was number 1 when he was just 20 years of age. Now, he's made a meal of both of his previous matches. First of all against the left-hander Sho Sozaki of Japan, and then against the qualifier from Hong Kong, Wong Wing Ki, dropping the opening game yesterday and looked to be in trouble in the second, but eventually won it 21-18. It was a tough third game as well. That was an hour and 4 minutes for his last 16 encounter. Well, this is the 11th meeting between these 2 players, and not only did Lin Dan win the last encounter, but he's won the last 6 meetings. Now, I should just explain that the head-to-heads we do are only from ranking tournaments, because of course they have played each other in the final of the Asian Games in Doha. Taufik Hidayat won on that occasion, and I believe that was the last time that Hidayat actually beat Lin Dan. So Wolfgang Lund from France, our umpire, and Eddie Rufianto, the service judge. Well, the last 3 tournaments that Lin Dan has played in, he hasn't made it past the quarter-final stage, but he hasn't played a quarter-final. Withdrawn from the event prior to his quarter-final matches, which has been a huge disappointment to many fans all over the world, including withdrew from his quarter-final encounter against teammate Chen Long last week in Malaysia.
Taufik Hidayat, Indonesia, and on my left, Lin Dan, China. Taufik Hidayat to serve, love all, play.
So the number 2 seed from Indonesia, Taufik Hidayat, nearest to us, in black kit. Lin Dan, the Olympic champion, explosive left-handed player. Now, the last time these two players
Service
played against
over.
each other was
1,
in the final of the Thomas
4.
Cup finals in Kuala Lumpur last year, and Lin-Dan won, as we saw just a moment ago, 21-7, 21-14. But the interesting thing to me was what Hidayat said after the match, and he said, well, if Lin-Dan continues playing like this, he's going to dominate until the Olympic Games. After the Olympic Games in London, he really did sing the praises of his left-handed opponent.
Well, Lin-Dan during those finals was exceptional. That was probably as good a badminton as I've ever seen. Lin-Dan was in great shape, prepared very heavily. He loves the team events, he loves playing for his country, prepared very seriously. And when you look at last year, it was clear that his focus was very much based on the championship events, the team event, the Thomas Cup finals for China, and the Asian Games on an individual basis to complete his full set of medals. What's in doubt with Lin-Dan is his motivation in the circuit tournaments these days. He looks as though it's difficult for him to get up week in, week out at the moment, and he's tending to focus on preparing very specifically for the major events.
Yes, in fact, that was endorsed by Lin-Dan himself in Kuala Lumpur last year at those Thomas Cup finals, because he was asked about the fact that Lee Chong-wei, the Malaysian, has been world #1 since soon after those Olympics in Beijing, September 2008, and Lin-Dan said, well, I'm not really interested in being world #1. I'm interested in winning the major, the big competitions. But I have to say, as far as badminton is concerned, I perceive these Premier Super Series events as similar to the Grand Slam tournaments in tennis, and therefore on an annual basis, you know, it would be disappointing for me to think that any player would not consider these 5 new Premier Super Series events as major competitions that they're desperately wanting to try and win each and every year.
Yeah, it may take time for them to establish that status, I have to say, but I'm going to be very interested to see how Lin-Dan reacts to the Premier Series tournaments. Whether he does take them seriously or not, I think it's going to be very interesting this week to see what condition he's in. Obviously he pulled out in the quarter-final last week. There was a little confusion as to what the actual injury was. There was one report that it was a back injury, there was another report that it was an abdominal strain. So there's a question mark there. But I just wondered at the time whether he was just playing safe because he was going to take this seriously, and he did want to win the first Premier Series tournament. So he started this match well within himself, feeling out his opponent a little bit. We haven't seen any of the explosive rear court play yet, playing very solidly from the rear court.
That's great net play from Lin-Dan.
4,
because
6.
Hidayat was ready to pounce, but it was quite simply too good a net shot.
Yeah, great touch. Great net roll. Because you were mentioning that Taufik's only played this event twice, and in the press he's been very clear as to why. He says it's too cold for him.
Oh, it is jolly cold. When we walked back across the Olympic Park at the end of play the other evening, we were told that it was minus 16 degrees.
6.
Yeah, and it is difficult for some of these players. They come in straight from the Malaysian Super Series event, where it was plus 32 to 35 degrees, and landing in Seoul, and those that landed in the evening, it was minus double figures, which is a real shock to the system, I have to say.
So a run of 5 straight points now for the Olympic champion. Back level at 6-all.
Yeah, we see there the problem he poses for his opponents. Very difficult to see when he jumps gets up and takes the shuttle so early, which direction is going to hit him. Very well disguised, with good power.
Oh, it's just gone long.
7-6.
A little unlucky. Read the net shot from Lindan, but just couldn't control the length of the shuttle from his quicker end.
Lindan really has had the better of the net play in his opening game so far. It's very early stages. The net play has been superb. Well, it's a run of 7 straight points now, from 1-6 down to 8-6 up. Shuangzhe, Chinese coach, former world champion.
Service over.
He's missed one.
7-8. Service over.
Raises his hand in apology for hitting his opponent.
9.
Yeah, and again
7.
a trademark of Lindan, when he sees that Taufik's letting the shuttle drop in the rear court, is immediately on the front foot looking to come forward.
10-7.
Of course, Hidayat was finalist last week in Malaysia. Lost out in that final to world number 1, Li Chongwei.
Seven interval.
Well, considering he was 1-6 down, he's won 10 of the last 11 rallies, has Lindan.
Yeah, again Taufik reading straight, Lindan going across the shuttle, hitting cross.